Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Inflamed Sisters podcast, a safe space created to guide women living with chronic illness to uncover their purpose by doing what they were meant to do, move in power by advocating for themselves, and to accelerate growth in health, career, and business. You will learn how to stop hiding and start thriving. We will inspire you, educate, and motivate you as we show you Inflamed Sisters thrive together always. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Inflamed Sisters Thriving podcast. And this is Katina Morrison, your host. I am a registered nurse as well as a chronic illness coach who is so excited to have the opportunity to share with you this amazing guest who is with me today. And her name is Andi Byers. Andi,
Hello,
why don't you introduce yourself to our guest today?
I'm Andi. I am a registered nurse, a holistic nutritionist, a chronic illness coach. I'm a mom. I'm a spoonie, um, and I help people find their happy. I fix hearts.
Wow. And you are doing an amazing job fixing
Thank you.
hearts and helping people find happiness. It has been a pleasure to come to know you, to see you, to be a part of the amazing things that you're doing and to contribute in even the smallest way because you are really helping us all find happiness in so many ways. And let's talk about that. When
Okay.
it comes to finding happiness, where did your journey start?
My journey to finding happiness um, started after I died. I had to die um, to start to find me, and so March 10th of 2020, I suffered from a sudden cardiac arrest, different from any other medical complication that I had ever had. Came completely out of nowhere, um, and the recovery portion of that forced me to sit with me. And in sitting with me, it forced me to address all of the things that I had hidden under the umbrella of I'm fine. Um, that cardiac arrest showed me I wasn't actually fine. So because I had to sit still for a year, I had to do a lot of self-reflection, and I started to redefine what happy meant to me. Happy for me used to be being in spaces with people around me, and a lot of the times I was uncomfortable. I didn't really want to be there, but I also didn't want to say no. I was probably in pain or whatever. And so for me, my happiness started, my journey to finding happy started when I started to prioritize me and what made me happy internally, so that I could understand how to be in environments that made me feel the uncomfortable growth shift, or um, so that I could pour into environments that I knew needed it. But I couldn't, I was always the person that people would call if I got this problem. And I would listen, but I would also absorb it because I'm a natural empath. And I was fixing all of these things to avoid fixing all of my things. And after the heart attack, I was forced to sit down and fix all of my things. And it better equipped me to pour love and light into other women, because I had been there. And once I came out of hiding, or running, hiding and running from my illnesses, from being angry because I was sick, from grieving the process, life for me just completely changed. I see every rainbow. I see every rainbow, even though the sky is gray. I see the joy in every moment, even though I have a bad second. But that is how my journey to happy started and how it is continuing.
Wow. Now, let me tell you, this podcast episode just started out, and that was already profound. So, you can only imagine where we're going to go from here. So, your journey to finding happiness started with you dying. It started with a cardiac arrest, a heart attack
Mhm.
that made you
Mhm.
sit still for a year, that
Mhm.
made you stop trying to be or stop being the fixer for everyone else and learn to fix yourself.
Mhm.
So, how did you fix yourself?
I sat in a lot of uncomfortable spaces, Katina, but the uncomfortable space was with me. All of the things that I avoided, one at a time, I started to tackle those things. Um,
Mhm.
I was on active duty for almost 22 years. So I hid feeling like crap my entire military career, out of fear that someone wouldn't get it, or out of fear that they would start to judge, or they wouldn't task me with certain things because they didn't think I could handle it. But when I dig back, I started doing that in my adolescence. I was hiding, not feeling well because I was labeled as the sickly kid, or she breaks easy, and then nobody wanted to be friends with me, or she's not going to be able to go. And I started hiding then. And that band aid of hiding continued into my adulthood. And then as the chronic illnesses started to unfold, that hiding got even worse. Um, I was so super, super focused on showing my strength by not showing pain that it was very counterproductive to what my strength journey, my strength story really is. My strength story really is that I can still do hard things, and that all of the things that I was doing when nobody knew I was in pain, I was able to still do it. But the minute they found out that I was doing that with several chronic illnesses, they were mind blown, like, we would have never known. On the inside, though, that go, go, go mentality of I'm hiding that I'm sick was killing me. It was killing me. I was bottled up. I was bottling up so much stress of, are they going to be able to tell that I'm moving differently today? Are they going to be able to tell that my uniform is starting to become very ill fitting because the side effects of the medication? Are they going to say something about my weight or me not being able to take a PT test? And then I have to come clean on, this is why I can't do it. Um, and then toward the end of my military career, I started to let people in. I started to start saying no to things. I never told them why, though. I was like, no. And then I died. And so me dying literally helped me stand in my no. And there is so much power in learning and being okay with standing in your no and not feeling like you have to explain why the answer was no. It used to be, I would be like, no, I don't want to because. Now it's just no. It's not no, I don't want to. It's just no, period, because it's a complete sentence. And if I feel like telling you why, I go, no, I don't want to because, and it's not associated with anything other than that does not align with my purpose. That's it.
Wow.
No, I don't want to. No, I'm not going. It all comes back now to, does that align with my purpose? And if it does not align with my purpose, my answer is no. And so that's it. And I'm okay with that. I sleep fabulous at night with standing in my no and being okay with it.
Mm-mm-mm. See, we don't have to stand in truths anymore. We stand in truth and in no. I
Yep.
love that. That's
Mhm.
powerful. And there's so much that you said in that was powerful to me. The fact that you were in the military and basically hiding in plain sight.
Mhm.
Hiding in
Yep.
plain sight that you had multiple chronic illnesses,
Yep.
and doing that likely led to those health issues,
Mhm.
suppressing who you were, and what you had, and just pushing through all that time. And then one day you decided to stop hiding and start thriving. Look
Mhm.
at that.
Yep.
See, a true inflamed sister thriving. So you took that journey
Mhm.
to take those steps to find your happy, and y'all must recognize that she's a true coach, because she's telling you what she did, but not telling you all she did, because she's supposed to be teaching y'all how to do it. Now, this woman right here, I love the way that you answered all of that, because I'm like, let me pick up some of these crumbs. She said, no, you're going to need to purchase my program for that. So she's I know, sis, what you did, because I be doing it. No, this was great. Y'all, this is a magnificent story, because the fact that you're actually dual, you're so qualified. This, you're a registered nurse. You have an
Yep.
MS in holistic nutrition.
Mhm.
You've lived a life of multiple chronic illnesses. Your
Mhm.
military background and the training that you have from that, my goodness, you are overqualified. And all these people in these streets faking like they coaches, but this is an ultimate coach, y'all. If you want an ultimate coach, they got master coaches out there, but we've got an ultimate coach right here. So let me stop. I love Andi, y'all can tell. So that's why I just got carried away. So this is the thing. You went through all of that, and then you found your happy. You stopped hiding and you started thriving. So the moment that you did that, how did your
Mhm.
life change?
Katina, I felt lighter, and every day I feel lighter. Um, the moment I decided that I was taking my power back, um, and I mean, in every aspect of my life, I was taking my power back, and I was releasing myself from the bondage that I put myself in, the fear, the anxiety, the depression that was all surrounded by me being chronically ill and hiding it. The minute I said, you know what, this is my truth, and the people in my life, if they want to be in my life, have to accept that this is my truth. I am a chronically ill person, and I'm a package deal. Only my package comes with 4 chronic illnesses. And so the minute I was okay with that and I started releasing those people and those things and those situations that no longer served me and my purpose, when I wake, it used to be where my alarm clock would go off and I would slap snooze like a trillion times because I just did not feel like lifing. Um, but now, the minute I started letting stuff go, um, and I just started opening up, my alarm clock, I wake up before my alarm clock. And I just sit there sometimes and wait for it to ring so I can turn it off so I don't wake anybody else up in the house. But I'm up before my alarm clock so I can spend time with me, so I could be nurturing to me first before I start my day and start pouring into any other cups. I pour into me first. The minute I started doing that, my skin cleared up. I started sleeping better. My appetite came back. And I was just moving in alignment with what I was put here to do the second time around. I was put here to do it the first time, and I ran from that. I was hiding. I didn't want to share my chronic illness story. And then the incident happened. And when I started opening up, people were thanking me for sharing it with them because they were going through something similar. They just didn't have a person to talk to that would get it, or a place to go where they could get loved on in a way that wasn't draining. Um, I woke up one day and my job no longer felt like a job. It was after I retired, but I had knew I knew then that I made it. Right? We do all of this moving to make it, and whatever it is that we're making it in.
Mhm.
And that whole vibe changed for me. It was no longer hustle. I had hustle written places, and I started scratching hustle out and just replacing hustle with purpose. And everything started to align. And I'm like, the hustle mentality is fine if that's all you want. But I wanted my hustle associated with a purpose. And so the word hustle for me now, it it is it reminds me of having a job, and me being in alignment with my purpose. I don't feel like I'm at work. I feel like I am moving exactly how I'm supposed to be moving to affect the lives that I need to affect, mine included, starting with mine. So yeah.
Wow, you didn't have to stop right there, sis. If you had another thought, I was just soaking it in. That was amazing. Um, and I'm, you know how I do. I meditate on what you said by saying it in the way that I heard it. But what hit me is nobody has ever referred to a job or a career, especially an extensive one. Like you were major in the military, in your side of things as far as your progress. You were a prodigy.
Mm-hmm.
So, in that sense, you said that your career and your job was a hustle, but what you are doing now is what you were meant to do, what you were
Mm-hmm.
purposed to do. That is
Yep.
powerful because see, people are around here talking about side hustles, but if you're working in line with your purpose, if you are doing what you're meant to do, that is not a hustle. That's purpose. That's,
Mm-hmm.
that is what you should be, what your life should be surrounded by, is doing what fulfills you and not what depletes you. Wow, how
Absolutely.
powerful that was. And then that lightness that you said that you felt, shedding everything that you hid before, and you're finally walking in the light, you know, and being the inspiration that you are. Whew, that was powerful. So this is what I got to do. Um, I'm going to do like when you're hosting and modding, you be coming in on us with these questions and things, but I'm telling you, you shake a person with your answers. Your answers is like, wow, okay, where I come from with this. No, this is the thing. So that moment you found your happiness, you felt lighter. But what motivated you to take the next step to help others to find their happiness?
Whew, that's a good question. That's a good question. So here we go. Um, I was in cardiac rehab, and it was late, and I couldn't get comfortable, and I prayed, and I was like, okay, I know that there's something bigger, and I know that you're trying to tell me something, and I don't know what it is. And then Marvin Sapp's Listen came on, and I just sat there, and I said, okay. And then I said, I want to prevent any other person, woman, chronic illness warrior, woman of color, I want to prevent them from ever feeling or experiencing the type of permanent heartbreak that I experienced, because the signs were there and they were all preventable. And I got a whole degree in it. I got 2 whole degrees in how to prevent it. But we were so pre programmed and pre wired to tell people that we're fine, especially as women. It's, oh, you're fine. We're pre programmed and pre wired, and we're raised to have it all together all the time. And we see generations and generations of our mothers and our grandmothers being put together and having it all together, or at least we thought. But that's generations that didn't know how to talk about what they were going through, or generations that couldn't afford to find out what was going on, and they were dying early, or they were looking tattered by the time they were 40 because they were exhausted from doing and not being, right? And so for me, my epiphany came in the middle of the night. During cardiac rehab, I said, I don't like the way this feels, and I could have prevented this. And if I can prevent at least one woman from ever feeling how I feel as I sit here in this very cold space in cardiac rehab over some stuff that I did to me, but I did it because although I knew what I was doing was wrong, I had become so entangled and trapped in that cycle of fine that I didn't even know where to start to fix it. And then the heart attack happened. Divine intervention, because it sat me down and it forced me to start to peel back the layers of the onion for me to fix it, because nobody else could have done that for me. Nobody else could have done that for me. And I've been in therapy. I'm a huge advocate, mental health advocate. I've been in therapy for years. And your therapist will tell you, you have to do the work, you have to do the work, and you hear it and you understand what they're saying. But until you hit that point where you do the work on you, do you have that epiphany? You're just like, okay. And as you start to implement the practices and the tools as you're working on you, it becomes second nature, and it just starts it's contagious. It starts to spread. It starts to wear off on the people around you, and they want to move differently. They want to move differently because they see you moving differently. For me, my biggest motivation today is my 17-year-old daughter. She sees how I move. She wants to move how mommy moves. But if mommy is moving in misery and sadness and anxiety, that's the burden I'm putting on her. I'm putting misery and sadness and anxiety, and I'm allowing her to to feel safe in I'm fine if she's not fine. And so I said, something has to give. I have to change. I have to do the work. And it was tough. It was scary. It was a lot of eye sweat. I did a lot of crying. I did a lot of praying. I did a lot of meditation, but I did a lot of growing. It was my growing season. I have done a lot of growing, and I am so appreciative of the heart attack now to see how far I've come in 2.5 years of just genuine happy. I look back on pictures of stuff 3 years ago, and I'm smiling, and it was a happy moment, but there was so much pain in my eyes. Now, it was pain in my eyes, it was pain in my face, it was pain in my joints, it was just pain. I was carrying around way more than I needed to for no apparent reason outside of I was running and I was hiding. It's not that people didn't want to make things better. It's not that people didn't ask. The genuine people didn't ask. It's that I was hiding and I was scared to tell them, this is what my real life looks like, out of fear that they too would leave, because I've watched people leave. What I learned was it's okay if they do leave, because if they leave, they weren't your person. And we spend so much time investing in people in our circles that we build that aren't really our people, just for the fact that we don't want to be alone. And sometimes being alone is what we need. Sometimes being alone is what we need. And what I needed those people to leave. I needed to be put in a space where I was by myself, because then I couldn't occupy my time with all of the other things that I needed to do. I needed to be in a room with me. And I got to be in a room with me for a year straight. And I'm so happy to meet me. I am fabulous. I am powerful. I am strong. I am encouraging. I am light. And I am light, and I give light to others. But I didn't know that 4 years ago. I knew I wanted to be bigger 4 years ago. I knew I wanted to fix people. I wanted to help mend broken hearts years ago. I just was scared to get out of my own way, out of fear that I would flare and not be able to do the things for them that they were expecting. And now the hearts that I heal are people like mine. They're like me, so they get it. They get coach is flaring, or hey, it's a low spoon day, because they too have low spoon days. But it is it's a transcending experience to finally meet the person you always were, but you never knew you were.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Girl,
yeah.
girl, I as the accountability in there is just eye opening. It's it's like it pushes a person to actually look at themselves in the mirror. Like you see yourself so clearly that you force other people to see themselves as clearly,
Mhm.
or to aim to do that. Okay, see, I'm dropping what she do in that program. So you see how I just pulled that out? But no, this is the thing. The amount of accountability, the fact that you actually speak about the generational curses, the what when women use as a shield to of reflecting who they really are by saying I'm just fine and pushing through. It's important for us to break those types of generational curses and turn it into generational happiness for ourselves and
Mhm.
for our children. And that's what you are creating for your daughter. And as you were talking, I thought about this song, and I looked it up. It's by India Ari. And
Mhm.
she says, I am light, I am
Yep.
light.
Love that song. I love that song.
I'm, yes, I'm not the mistakes that I've made or any of the things that cause me pain. I am not the pieces of the dream I left behind.
Mhm.
Those were the words that came to my mind. And there's another verse in there that says, I'm not the things my family did. I'm not the voices in my head. I am not the pieces of the brokenness inside.
Mhm.
A few months ago, I was introduced to an amazing product that I have added to my nutrition. That is Powerful. Powerful is carefully formulated to support your mind, body, and soul, with one serving giving you 15 ingredients. Powerful adaptogens, functional mushrooms, antioxidant rich spices, and zinc. Your body will be thriving. It's a tasty addition to my oatmeal, smoothies, tea, and juice that has given me exactly what I was looking for. I've seen improvements in my energy, skin, and gut health. And all its amazing ingredients naturally boost my immune system and are anti inflammatory. A girl couldn't ask for more. I love this product and suggest you try it too.
When you
Mhm.
think about it, you get into a tiff with someone and you don't really want to talk about it at the moment, but you're clearly angry and they go, "Are you okay? I'm fine. What's wrong with you? Nothing. I'm fine." But are you? And it starts early. It starts when we're toddlers. There's nothing wrong with you. You're fine. They fall, they scrape their knee. There's nothing wrong with you. You're fine. Don't give them any attention. They're fine. That's where it starts.
Mm.
And then we get raised in fine. It's something, it's minuscule. I'm fine. Oh, I got to get thicker skin. I'm fine. Until one day you're not fine. Until one day you're
Yeah.
not fine. But
Until one day you
the
have
myth,
a heart attack.
yeah. Or one day you can't get out of that dark space. Like, I don't think people understand the power of not hiding behind fine, because we put that fine band-aid on it and our mental health suffers and it continues to suffer,
Mhm.
but then we don't have anybody to talk to. So people go down the rabbit hole of darkness, and I've been there. I've been there. I have tried to end my life in my 20s because I was in that rabbit hole of darkness, hiding behind I'm fine. That started when I was little. Oh, there's nothing wrong with you. Stop crying. You're fine. That's where it starts.
Mm,
And I don't
mm,
think people
mm.
ever associate it with that. And it's, for me now, when I tell you I protect my space and I protect my peace, that means family, not family, whatever, whatever. Y'all could get it too. The answer's still going to be no. No's all around. I'm Oprah Winfrey handing them jokers out. No. And sometimes I don't. I don't even have to say nothing. I just don't respond. No. The thing is, and if you take nothing else from this whole podcast interview, we are raised. I'm pretty sure you heard when you were raised, when you were brought up, watch the company that you keep. The company that you keep is important. The company that you keep is important. The company that you keep is important. Misery loves company, and I don't like misery, so I don't keep misery around me. Watch the company you keep.
Mm, 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 mm.
You surround yourself with people that uplift you, that will notice that you changed. So I surround myself with happy people because they will notice if something in me changes. They will notice if my dynamic changes. Don't just surround yourself with people. Surround yourself with genuine people that get you. Surround yourself with your people, because I was one in a billion in uniform, and I was struggling in uniform. I was severely depressed in uniform for 22 years. People saw a smile, they heard a I'm fine, they did not dig any deeper.
Mm.
The people who knew me was like, she's off. The eyes under her eyes are dark. She's foggy. Something's wrong. And I didn't want to talk about it. I'm fine. I'd be in therapy. I'm fine. I had a lot of trauma. I'm fine. I worked through it. I worked through it. And I did it. And then I had to. And so now, if you don't take anything else from this podcast, watch the company you keep. If you don't want miserable and you don't want to be in that dark space, don't surround yourself or allow yourself to be engulfed with misery and darkness. If the people in your circle are pouring more darkness into your circle, they can exit stage left, even if it's temporary. But while you're growing and healing, they cannot contaminate your soil. You are planting seeds. You are nurturing the future you, the future better, healthier, thriving version of you, and they cannot contaminate your soil. Very fertile ground. You are birthing your new beginning. You are finding you. You are birthing your happy. And the littlest thing in the company that you keep can contaminate that soil.
Oh, wow. Let that marinate, y'all. Let that marinate. That took my breath. Okay, so there's so much in what you just said. But you have said something that was very important for people to recognize is that when you lose people in your life, when you lose friendships, when you lose what you thought was love, just know that that was not your person. And I love
Mm-hmm.
the way that you put that. Then that wasn't my person. That wasn't my friend. That was not what was supposed to be a part of my life. That is the most beautiful way to be able to deal with loss, is to recognize that the person who walked away actually isn't a loss.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually a gain to recognize that they didn't deserve space, time, and your space. Time
Mm-hmm.
and space and energy you would have put into that person would have been of no avail to you. It would have been vanity. It would have been of no benefit. So,
Yep.
our goal is to be around those who invest and are happy in the same way that we invest in theirs. And I love the fact, one thing that comes to my mind is instead of saying I'm fine, you're now able to say I'm happy.
Mm-hmm.
That's a
Because I'm not.
beautiful place
You
to
may not
be.
always be 100% okay, but I'm so happy in being able to
Mhm.
identify that I will have days that I'm not 100% okay, and that's okay. And I could either choose to let that not 100% okay affect the entire day, or I could process it and then go, this can't be my whole day. And sometimes, if I have to rest, my comfort all last week was literally my weighted blanket. My mind was everywhere. I knew I needed to sit down. And I wrapped myself up like a burrito in my weighted blanket. And I had aromatherapy going on, and I Netflix and chilled with myself. Um, but it was what I needed. I needed a hug, not from a person. I needed a hug from me. I had gotten in a space where I was upset with my medical treatment and just frustrated at, okay, here's another, needle just being kind of tossed my way. Let's figure this out. And although I was angry, and I was angry for some hours, like probably that whole day, because it was like a domino effect of just buffoonery and phone calls. Um, the next day, though, I said, today's not going to be like yesterday. It can't be. I gave myself that one day to grieve those appointments, process those emotions, grieve those appointments. Still laid in bed, wrapped up like a burrito. But the next day, I said, okay, the dark space has to go. I opened up all my blinds. I may have gotten back in the bed under my weighted blanket, but I let all that light in. I let the light in so that I could be light. I am light. Light feeds off of light. And I was like, the longer I stay held up in this dark room with my blinds closed, the more my mental health is going to suffer. And although I cannot get outside and go get the light to kiss my skin, I could open up these blinds, and I did. And my mental health started improving drastically. The minute I just saw the sunshine, it made me smile. So I
Mhm.
will happily not be 100% put together. I won't say okay. I will happily not be 100% put together, because no one is 100% put together. We just pretend like we have it all figured out. Everyone in this life is walking a journey, not 100% put together. But not everybody is willing to say, I'm not together. I'm not always
Mhm.
together, and I'm okay with that. It makes me happy to be able to say, I'm okay with that.
Mhm. Yeah, because you finally are complete in the sense you're not hiding anymore. To be
Mm-mm.
able to walk in light, to walk in truth, to be who you are is a real way that you can find happiness and so much unhappiness that exists in this world today. And that's
Absolutely.
one of the special things that I appreciate about you. You're one of those people who who someone could easily underestimate because you are not someone, and that's what's crazy is you have a whole 22-year career in the military, but you are not a person who is intimidating. like you're a person full of warmth and compassion, and putting so much into making other people happy, that people could underestimate you. And that's one thing, from the moment I met you, I didn't, because I saw something deeper in you. I mean, I've told you this multiple times, but I don't know if you believe it. But you're one of those people who I'm like, yeah, this right here is not ordinary. This is extraordinary. This is somebody who is about to change many, 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 many lives in so many ways. It's just allowing yourself not to get in your own way, and that's the path that you're walking now. You're
Mm-hmm.
walking in a way that you are no longer in your own way, and that's what I'm proud of. Okay, so tell me this. You are you have found your happiness, you're helping others find their happiness, but you are also creating experiences of happiness. And you have an event that will be coming up very soon. Can you tell us about Find Your Happy? But before we can go to that, we gotta also talk about what the health though. What
Let's
the
talk
health.
about what the hell.
Let's
Let's
talk about what the
do it.
health, and then we'll go to that. Tell
Okay.
me, how did What the Hell come about, and what was that experience throwing such an amazing expo in
Okay.
your area?
Okay. So what the hell came to me um on the way home one day. Um I was on the way home from a doctor's appointment, and literally as I was walking to my car, I think in my head I just kept thinking, what the hell? This was such a waste of my time. And then I said, there's got to be something better. Like, there's got to be something better. And then they like to send you to all these places for all these weird expos. And I'm walking around and I'm like, I've been to these. And literally, all they did was shove stuff that I already saw in a commercial down my face. And I'm like, but they didn't target people like me. They just kind of cast the net out wide. And so when I got to my car, um, it sounds real cliche. It's not. So my granddad, I absolutely love him. He's not with us, but I can always tell when he visits me because I get chills. And I was driving and I got chill bumps, and I said, "Hey, granddad." So I turned the radio off, and I'm like, "You're probably trying to tell me something, so I'm just gonna sit in it." And then what the hell came to me, because the whole time I was on my way home, I was like, "What the hell was that?" This was like the most biggest. I said, "Ooh, I like a good play on words. What the hell?" And then I was like, "Now what do I want in this?" I built an expo selfishly for me. I built an expo for me. And I had information that I wish I knew when I was in my 20s. And I had amazing women there, you included, that were able to drop so many gems that were needed in that community, because there were so many women in that space that had those things going on. They just didn't know that people like us existed and coaches like us existed. And so I said, okay, this is the thing, but how can I bring my sisters with me that aren't here? So I found a space that allowed me to do virtual. I did a hybrid. And y'all came through and y'all were dropping gems, and people had notebooks out and they were smiling. By the end of the event, it was, when's the next one? This area needs more of these. We have never seen something like this in our area, period. It was a health expo geared toward women who deal with stuff like lifing while not feeling 100%. Facilitated and co-facilitated by women who live a thriving life on a tank that's not 100% full all the time. And we're showing them that it can be done. And we're showing them that there's ways that you can get the test that you need. And we're teaching them how to advocate for themselves. And all of these tools, they didn't know were a thing before they stepped into that space. And I said, okay, bet, time to plan the next one. And so I started that day of the event, I started looking at time slots for the next one, because I had gotten such a huge outpouring of love from the community in general, from the facility owner was like, will you bring another one back here? Because he and his wife were there and she learned so much and he learned so much. And I had men in the space that were glad that they were in the space, although it was marketed as a women's wellness expo. I had men in that space that were so glad that they were in the space, and I was glad to have them in the space because they learned so much about what their wives were going through, or what their daughters were going through, or their sisters and their
Mm-hmm.
moms that they didn't know were a thing, but they left that expo space with a better understanding of what life is like lifing as a woman. And that was huge for me. That was huge for me.
Wow. And might I add, it was a beautiful, beautiful event that I was so happy and proud to be able to attend virtually, as well as support, because I will be there physically at the next one coming up next year, early next year. So now that we have What the Health, which we know is coming again, we have Finding Your Happy. Tell us about that experience and how can someone be a part of that?
Okay, so that's a super good question. Okay, here we go. Finding Your Happy was birthed. It was the 1 year, it was on my birthday. The very first Finding Your Happy was my birthday last year. It was my 1 year post heart attack. So I was um, turning 2 and 42 at the same time. And
Mm-hmm.
so I said, I want to bring my birthday in happy, but I want to bring my birthday in showing other women that it's okay. The first Finding Your Happy was the culmination of my healing journey. And I took all of those lessons that I learned and I packaged it into a chronically stressed course and journal, like a whole step by step meditative self care journal. And then I built Finding Your Happy, the first experience. Um, and it was a day to unplug for women who just needed to unplug from lifing. And then we talked about the signs of chronic stress and how things can be prevented, and it's okay to stand in your no, and it's okay to not be fine. um, and then this one, the first Finding Your Happy was received so well. It was a day of pampering and decadence and just prioritizing you, right, and appreciating you. It was so transformational. I said, okay, I need to schedule another one, but this time I am bringing together some other people that also have powerful stories, that also can do amazing things to make this even more holistic, to cover all of the aspects. So on September 24th, Finding Your Happy Round 2, the second installment of Finding Your Happy, the ultimate self care experience, is going down in Norfolk, Virginia. We are opening the day with sunrise meditation and yoga on the roof while the sky is really clear and the wind is cool so the air can kiss our skin. We're going to relax, relate, release. And then we're coming back into the downstairs into the house. And we're going to break off into transformational groups. We're doing mindset work. We're doing healthy cooking demos. Um, we're talking stress and anxiety, depression, and overwhelm. We're talking about shifting your momentum so that you can move in your purpose. We're talking about, what happens next when I'm okay can no longer be your safety net, um, and how to prevent the unpreventable of, okay, I've had enough, because the breakdown is coming. Is Now, how do we prevent the thing that we know is unpreventable if we don't stop doing the things? And so that is why Finding Your Happy is huge for me. Um, I'm bottling up my whole journey of finding me in order to help other women find them. And finding me meant for me that I had to leave me to find me. And once I did, I said, hey, it's so nice to finally meet you. You've been in there for like ever. And I'm just so happy to know Andi. Like, I've been Sergeant Byers, I've been mom, I've been wife, I've been little sister, I've been Nikki, I've been everything. But I've been Andrea Nicole. I met Andi, and I love Andi. I love every ounce of Andi, every scar, every surgery, every autoimmune disease. Um, there's a lot of light in my life, although I only have vision in one eye. I see clearly in that one eye. And that's all that really mattered for me, is that when I had both eyes, my visions were everywhere. I wanted to do all the things, I wanted to touch all the things, but nothing was clear until I lost my vision. And then I gained my vision. See how that works? It's very weird, but I had to lose my vision to gain a vision. And I gained a vision, and that vision is powerful. That vision was to change lives. And so that's what I'm doing.
Wow. So you have met Andi and found you're happy, and now you're meeting Andi and introducing her to all of the other lovely ladies that you help
Yep.
to find their happiness, to find their
Mm-hmm.
true selves, what they were meant to do, how they were meant to live.
Yep.
Wow. So this lovely lady, this lovely woman here, I am proud to be in your presence. I'm proud to actually be your coach as well. Who would
Yes.
have thought? It's like when you are someone who, like me, who has spent a lot of her life not being happy and not knowing her true self. When I find myself, and then I find myself being in the presence of women like you who choose me to be
Mm-hmm.
their coach or to be a part of their lives, it's something that is awe inspiring. I think I told you recently today how it's like it gives me like a flutter, like, wow, someone this amazing actually thinks I'm amazing too.
I
It's a
would choose you a
beautiful
hundred
thing.
times over. I would choose you 100 times over.
Oh, thank you so
1000%.
much.
Yep.
Okay, y'all, you're not gonna make my eyes sweat. So, so we have talked about so much. There's one more thing that we have to talk about.
Okay.
We have to talk about the Inflamed Sisters Thriving Summit and Gala,
Let's do it.
which is going to be taking place on October the 29th, 2022. That means this episode has to come out before then, and it shall.
Mm.
Um, so
Accountability.
yeah, accountability. This is coming out before September the 29th, and it's coming out before before September the 24th, and before October the 29th. So finding your happy and the Inflamed Sisters Thriving will not take place until this episode is seen and heard by you all. So Inflamed Sisters Thriving Summit and Gala actually came, believe it or not, the Andi Byers inspired me, believe it or not, to that I could actually do this. A year ago, I said that I would love to have a event that I hosted, but I said it was going to be a virtual event, and that I wanted to do something for the chronic illness, autoimmune disease community. But I didn't think that that could happen in my first year of business. At that time, I was not making the money that I thought would be able to support such an event, and I didn't even think that I could gather together that many women. Well, then I think I had 200 followers on Instagram. I'm hitting at 24 a year later, and I now have more than 20 clients in my group coaching as well as in my one-on-one coaching. And so I was like, Andi put together this amazing event. And she showed her coach the way. And her coach was behind her saying, girl, you got this. Girl, we
Yes.
gonna do this. Add this on. And this is what you can do. You got this, girl. You gonna do this. And I was like, as I was behind you, it was inspiring me like, wait a minute, Andi is showing me what I can do. Like, this doesn't have to be a virtual event that I do a
Mm-mm.
year from now. I can do it this year. I just have to just do it. Get a building, And the building came about where I would be able to host 70 people, and I felt comfortable with that, especially in these times. And then I could also make it virtual to make it accessible to others. But I'm telling you something you didn't know. You actually
Yeah, you
inspired
did.
me to do a year earlier what I thought I would do next year. You actually gave me that inspiration, and you've also been such a huge help to me. This event is meant to do exactly what this podcast does: inspire, educate, and motivate women who are living with all these challenges in life to know that you can stop hiding and start thriving, that you are able to achieve growth and success in your health, your career, your business, in life. And we are the lovely Andi Byers will be coming to show us and tell us how you can find your happy.
We going in deep,
Um,
y'all. Bring your tissues.
okay.
We cry a lot.
Yes, because she had us crying on what the health. So all we can expect is that we are going to be crying as we thrive together at the Inflamed Sisters Thriving Summit and Gala. So if you have not already, this podcast episode is just a taste of what you can experience if you come to that event. So first, if tickets are available, you need to go on select Find Your Happy on September the 24th.
24. Link is in my
Okay.
Instagram bio. Make sure that you follow me at Chronically Iconic Coach across the platforms. The link is in my bio. If you are in the Virginia area, the Hampton Roads area, and you are in a space where you are trying to do more than do and you want to be, we'll be there with open arms, waiting to nurture you and welcome the new you.
Very good. And those slots are filling fast, y'all.
Quick.
Um, quick. They're very limited right now. And the same is taking place with Inflamed Sisters Thriving Summit and Gala, happening October the 29th, 2022 in Tampa, Florida, in the historic Seminole Heights district. Come on through. We're hosting a retreat at the same time with where she is also going to be present. But you need to come on through and support sponsors. We're welcoming you because for every sponsor ticket purchase, there will be 10 warriors who will be able to have free access to the virtual event. And we are filling a table of 8 warriors who were gifted their space through sponsor purchases as well. So come on through and support in any way that you can. And the other thing you have to do is support this amazing lady. Tell us again where we can find you.
I am I am at Chronically Iconic Coach on Instagram. You can follow my business page, Chronic and Iconic Coaching, on Facebook. And I am the Iconic Lounge, the Iconic Lounge, Chronic and Iconic Lounge on YouTube. I am Fighter Method 1 on Twitter because it won't let me change the handle because Chronically Iconic is too long. And I'm also Chronically Iconic Coach on TikTok, which I just got into. So stay tuned for that because it's going to be a wreck.
She said no, it's going to be full of happiness and joy. This thing
It's
is
going to be
going
a
to pop
happy
off.
wreck. It's going to be a happy wreck, but it's going to be a wreck because I have coordination. I don't have that much coordination, but I got some.
So you up in there dancing. You going to be doing
The
you
things
going
that I do for Kyla, the things I do for her,
oh,
just
sis, they can't
listen.
get me to do
I
it.
am
I
not put
two-step.
together in that category. I am not together in that category.
Yes, a sis can two-step, but a sis ain't doing all them routines. That has come
Mm-mm.
and gone. Brain
No,
fog won't allow me to do that.
that part.
So
That part.
So we could be here forever, y'all. This has been an amazing, amazing time for me. And I have to end this show like I end all of my shows. First, thanking my amazing guest, Andi Byers, the chronically iconic, for coming and blessing us with the happiness that she brings everywhere that she steps and sees and shares. And I also want to tell you, I'm so happy to be a part of your journey.
Thank
And
you.
thank you for having me.
Thank
But what I
you.
have to, say it again.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sis. So, what I have to tell everyone else is this, like I always say, we may be inflamed, but we are still here. And as long as we are here, we must remember inflamed sisters thrive together always.
Always.
Have a wonderful day, everybody. And make sure you find your happiness, keep it, and share it with as many as you can each day.
Absolutely.